Now, after all of that goodwill, or maybe not, maybe we've roasted your team and you're not happy with us. Let's make it worse by announcing our One Soccer Today teams of the season. We're going to go through them one by one, and then we'll put them all up together, and then we can absolutely debate and go here or there. Ollie, I'm going to give you the honor, and we spoke before the show. You and I think, both struggled with this selection. There's at least 3 people that I left out that I like. It hurt me. There's no consequences or stakes to this, but it hurt me to leave them out of the team. How did you find this process? Walk us through your team.
Well, I came into the studio on the weekends talking a big game about my team of the year and how I had it figured out and had it down. And then I went home and thought about it some more for the show, and I made like 3 or 4 changes. So I've kind of been all over the place over the past few days trying to decide who's in my team of the year. But I think this is the group. The tough positions for me, fullback was tough. I ended up going more cavalry heavy than I thought I would because, quite frankly, why not? They're 13 points clear. Shamit Shome, I think, has done a great job the second half of the season playing in that right back role. He comes into midfield in possession, as a lot of modern teams do, and he's perfect for it. He can defend right back, but obviously has the quality of a midfielder. And Camden, like a player no one has really talked about, but he's played regularly. He's logged a lot of minutes for Cavalry.
He's been really good.
Sometimes it's been in the back 3. Sometimes it's been as a more advanced wing back, and I think he's been good. So I don't know that it's, you've got like an Abzi in there who's far and away the best fullback in the league, but I think these 2 guys have had really strong seasons and have been the best of that group. And I wanted to pick actual fullbacks rather than maybe putting some different players a little bit out of position there. So that was tough. The other one that I think is maybe a more recent change based on the way he's finished the season is Farron on the wing ahead of Salif.
There we go. I told you. Thank you for coming around.
You're right, Wills. I had to look at it properly again, and like Farron in particular, not just the output he's had this season, but the way he's done it. Like a lot of goals in the first half, a lot of goals to make it 1-0, a lot of goals from open play. Like it's hard to open games up in this league, and he's done it consistently for Halifax. So I think he has to be in there now. The rest of them, I don't think are that controversial. Maybe Bevan up front. You can make an argument for Campbell, for Pacius, or for 1 or 2 others. But I think the rest are pretty, will be in a lot of people's teams.
All right, Gareth Wheeler, I'm looking at that team, and there's only 2 that don't match mine. So I think the consensus is there. I'm curious to see which around the edges you have picked that we can debate. What's your team?
Mine looks very similar to Oliver Platt's. I use Cavalry's system because Cavalry being the best team, because I thought I was going to sneak in Shamit Shome, and I didn't think anyone else would put him in the team. He plays midfield, but he rotates out there to right back. He's been so reliable, one of the underappreciated players in the league. At goalkeeper, it was between Carducci and Tristan Henry. Carducci's team picked up 55 points. And I think that he's just quietly so good every season. I think we'll have Nimick, Klomp, Caligari, Bassett in our team. Bevan was a no-brainer for me up top at a time where the number 9's underperformed. I've been on the Massimo Farron train, trying to convince anyone that would listen that he needs to be in a team of the year. 4 goals in 4 games to finish it off, no problem. Moosey, like there had to be a significant cavalry presence in this team because of how good they were. The hardest choice for me was who was going to play on the left side of center back. Mendrikar James plays there more naturally than a Paris G. I thought that Paris has done everything that he possibly can to get into this team. That was a really tough one, but he doesn't really play that position in this formation. Same thing with Kyle Becker. I don't think that Becker was a lock to play this year. I considered other players like Batar in Vancouver, but based upon Forge, where they are in the table, I need to reward players that are playing for winning teams, with all due respect to some other players that have played really well in the season. So Aparicio, a little bit hard done by being left out as well, but it's just the nature of what the team looks like and the shape where I had to go in that direction. Becker can play a little bit more forward, so that's why I went with Becker, but I think there's an argument to be made that Kyle Becker could have been outside the best 11 this season.
I would agree with that, in that I thought there were a couple players that could have taken him out, and I'm keeping this train going of 2 players from each of yours that I've left out. I'm going to take some flack for this, I know. The first one that I really struggled with was Mandrikar James. I think when I thought of... I made 2 teams, and I thought, okay, I'm on the fence so much that I have to just go with my gut. So I go Klomp, Didic, Nimick as my 3 at the back. Struggled to leave James out. Tristan Henry, for me, had his best season in the Canadian Premier League, and I could not take him out for some of the games he won. The fact that he literally headbutted the back of the post and almost concussed himself to make a save. That's the kind of commitment I want in my fictional team. Moosey has to be there. And with you guys again, Bassett, Caligari, Becker.
Moosey doesn't play that
staying.
position, Adam.
I had to squeeze him in. I didn't say that he was a right wing back, but I had to squeeze him in. So I'm going with the 3-5-2. And because I host this show, I'm going to allow it for myself. Farron and Bevan as a 2 up top because they both deserve to be there. And I wanted to get Mateo de Brienne in here because he is an Energizer Bunny type of player. He only played 1,500 minutes and was up towards the top of the league in tackles. He was second in interceptions. He does not stop running. And the fact that he was able to bounce back from injury and in some games keep Valor alive when they didn't deserve to be in them, definitely earns a vote for me. I thought he was really, really good. And Farron, yes, Bevan was the best striker. The thing with Bevan as well is, of course, he finishes tied with the Golden Boot, but it was his 5 assists off the ball too, unselfishly with Camargo, with Moosey as link-up players. So I think he was clearly into my team this season. And Caligari might be the most talented player in the CPL, so that was a slam dunk. He can play a little bit more deeper in midfield and let my Maestro 6 up top go nuts.
So Cavalry win the league by 13 points. So you only have 3 Cavalry players in your best 11, yet you have a player from the last place team.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. And I, out of the 3 of us, am the only one who have players who play in their actual positions and dictated my selections based upon formation.
What?
So,
who did I have out of position?
You had Shami Shom as a natural right back. He plays in the midfield.
He plays right back.
He's played right back so many times. He's played as an advanced fullback on several occasions. They play 3 at the back,
and he plays in the right side of midfield and rotates back.
No, he defends a right back and moves into midfield.
He defends a right back. Then Cavalry doesn't play 4 at the back. So...
Well, they did.
That's all I'm saying. I'm the only one with an actual formation with players.
No, that's not true because as much as you called out Adam for having Moosey at wing back, you had Massimo Ferrin at wing back and no left back behind him.
That's because the way that the formation works, that's how Halifax uses them in that exact role, bro. So yes, it is. Go through the team sheets on the season. I put a lot of time into this.
I guarantee that people will be fired up about this. They always are. It's why we love doing them. I know this will end up on social media. Armin, thank you for the graphics and thank you for getting this clip out there. But let us know in the comments because I know it will be there. Who's right? Who's wrong? I beat Gareth in the head-to-head fantasy draft, and I beat him again in Team of the Year. Let's continue to make that known on the interweb. And I just know that his blood is boiling, so I'm going to move on while I still can.